I really appreciate being here. It's a big deal for me. I graduated from UCR in 2008, and just to be a student and to come over here and speak, it's a very humbling feeling for me and one I don't take for granted. So thank you for your time. Thank you for sharing this moment with me. Today's presentation is called Sounding Human. It's a little contrary to just the nature of the artificial world that we live in. So, just going to be a little journey for us to go through voice acting and poetry and how we can use these concepts to become better speakers, regardless of what you're trying to speak in or who you're trying to speak to. I think there's a certain grace that's found within all of us if we allow ourselves to sound human. Our goal today is pretty simple. We're just going to discuss a few simple dynamics of the voice, a few simple concepts of poetry, and for those willing to participate with me for a couple of exercises, specifically the voiceover ones, there's a little free gift on the table. I'll talk about that in a minute here. We're going to be using microphones and our voice throughout the presentation. The poetry exercise will come with a little bit of music just to help guide you. A little background about myself. I was born a poet. I became a voice actor probably 15 years ago. And combining those two things, it's allowed me to find my own unique voice. And for some people, they may be afraid of their voice. A lot of people, they don't like the way their voice sounds. It's a predicament because you can't really change anything about it. So you have to, I guess you have to learn to love your voice. And that in itself is a journey. If you want to find out any more information about me, you can go on my website or scan the QR code and stay connected. A little bit of the agenda today, 25 to 30 minutes with some commercial voiceover scripts, 3 short ones, just so we can get a little rhythm and feel for it. The only rule that I ask is that you give yourself permission. And sometimes in life, we find it hard to give ourselves permission. So if you can just please allow yourself to participate. Other than that, there's no rules. It's a free ride. So just give yourself permission. For me, one of the most important concepts in voiceover or just being a human is vulnerability. It took me a long time to understand what it even means to be vulnerable. And it doesn't matter your age or your race or none of that matters. There's a little beauty and grace in becoming vulnerable. So I wanted to start off just talking about the power of vulnerability and the definition of it. Essentially, it's a state of allowing oneself to be harmed physically or emotionally in hopes to see and feel something in return that helps you transcend whatever it is that you may be fighting through or working through. And, vulnerability if you look at the way we make connections in life, whether it's colleagues, or whether it's friends or partners, vulnerability is essential to building authentic relationships. You have to be able to stand there naked with your feelings, to be able to express what it means to be truthful. And I think truthful is probably the most important of all. It's very hard for, I think, individuals to be truthful. In our daily lives, we wear multiple masks. We wear a mask so that people don't see who we are. We wear a mask so people don't judge us. We wear a mask so that we can take it off later at home. Being vulnerable allows you to get rid of those masks. And I understand it's a delicate dance, especially within the confines of, a specific structure. But it's powerful. And silence really allows you to capture your vulnerability. If you're not able to get to know yourself, then you can't find your voice. And that's the predicament. So using our heart, using truth, being truthful to who we are, and enjoying a little bit of silence will help us get a little bit more vulnerable. And that's the goal today, is see if we can explore that. This right here is one of my favorite tools. This is the emotional wheel. Originally, it was created by Robert Putchik, I believe, and it's a visual map of the human experience and the emotions we feel. Now, this is going to be, for anyone who participates, I have 3 of them here, a little gift. In the center, you'll find the core emotions that we feel. As a voice actor, when I use this tool, if I get a script, and let's say the script is a sad script, I have to dance the line of sounding too sad, where it's depressing, or sounding just a little sad, where it's still inspirational or sentimental. In the center, you have primary emotions that we might feel: anger, fear, love, joy, surprise. And on the outside of the wheel are the secondary emotions, the emotions that are the color ranges of when we express something. How do we express being in love that's romantic versus compassionate? How do we express anger? And the spectrum of anger can change, right? You can be angry and be envious. You can be angry and be frustrated. Now, each one of these emotions, when you get in a microphone, you learn that you can express them differently. When you communicate your feelings to someone, it requires you to tap into your emotional wheel. It's a great way to build connection. You can use it in therapy. You can use it in friendship. You can use it if you have children, they don't know how to express something. Look at the wheel and how do you feel? What if you have a script or something you're working on, a presentation, and you look through that emotional wheel, it might guide you. Like if you have we're going to do an exercise here, but if you have a certain message to motivate, whether it's a sales presentation or something of that nature, you might find that your emotion might come from joy, but then also on the outside of triumphant. And how you express that might be different with your voice. How does someone sound joyful and just kind versus how do they really motivate and inspire? And that's the dynamic of the voice. So this is a great tool. You can find one at the Junto Institute, is just one that we're showing up here, but you can find them everywhere, and I think it's a great tool. Like I mentioned, I've been a voice actor for about 15 years, and just for a simple definition, when we think of nowadays, I mean, with artificial intelligence, you can press a button and someone can read your entire audiobook for you, and it's a truthful thing. And for me, when I see it, I just kind of smile because I don't judge it. I understand the world is changing, but the art of speaking is not going to change, and how we communicate to one another. So a simple little definition of voice acting is that a voice is used to bring narratives and characters to life. When you think of a great audiobook, someone's reading it in a really amazing way, or when you think of a famous speech and how passionate a speech can be and how you feel from it, or if you're watching a movie and there's a great motivational scene in that movie, you feel it. Well, all that's essentially a form of voice acting. If you think of video games and animation, these are all elements of voice acting. It's like a conductor. And your voice can be manipulated. And there's different aspects of your voice, right? There's speed, which is essentially just cadence. It's the beats. Everyone talks at a different beat. And the pace, some people talk really fast, you don't understand what they're saying because they're going really fast and it affects the message. But then some people, their cadence is right here. It's very slow. It changes up the message. So how does one find their cadence, their beat? A little bit of it's practice. A lot of it is observing your patterns, recording yourself, listening back. Oh, I seem to talk really fast here, or talk when I'm feeling angry. What is my pace like? Or observe kids and elderly people. The pace might be different in which you communicate to them. That's one aspect. The second aspect of voice acting is attitude. Essentially, it's just acting. This part is the intention. As an actor, when I'm trained to read a script, I can do a live session with a client. They might tell me, hey, Kabir, change your attitude. How do you do that? A lot of it comes in the body language. A simple way might be to smile. So if they say, hey, make it more friendly, I'm putting a big smile on my face. Now all of a sudden the attitude changes. You find yourself presenting or communicating to a group of people or one person. What is your attitude? When you get in a fight with somebody, a verbal altercation, how is your voice changing? How is that attitude changing? Is it coming from the emotional wheel of anger? Or can you have an attitude that's maybe not so angry, but a different spectrum of anger? And that's the game. Adjust your pace, adjust your attitude. The next one is volume. Volume, it can be used in multiple ways. And when you have sensitive microphones, you can get really quiet. And yet, you see, a lot of people think in order to make a statement, I have to get loud to make a statement. But sometimes the most powerful statements are softer. So then you adjust your volume. Volume can be loud, volume can be soft. And you can just play with that on a microphone in front of a group of people. The last one is energy. Energy is affected by everything. We can make something extremely energetic, a lot more fun, or we can get it right here and we can just bring it back. There's certain projects I'll do that require maybe an energy that's very casual, very laid back, kind of like this, just talking to a couple of students, having a good time. Or the energy might change and be more powerful because I'm trying to motivate a whole group of people about something very specific. So you're allowed to manipulate your voice in those ways. You have the cadence, the pace. You have the attitude, which is the intent. You have the volume. And then you have the energy. Okay, so this is the invitation to be a voice actor today. I have a microphone. And all I'm going to ask is to give yourself permission. That's it. We have I have three scripts, very short. Connect with the emotion on the wheel. And when I first started voice acting, if a script wasn't coming off right, my coach would always get in my ear, be like, who are you talking to, buddy? Who are you talking to? And then I'm like, I'm talking to my friend. Yeah, that doesn't make any sense. Who's the friend? Oh, it's my friend Soleil. Yeah, okay, well, what's your relationship with him? So there's layers. When you try to figure out who you're talking to, pick someone that you can really deliver that message to. Someone you love, someone that's your friend, depending on the script. That's all. So the first one is pretty simple. A motivational message for a sales team. Any participants would like to come up and just play around with the microphone for a second? And just maybe give it a chance. Again, you get a free gift. It's an emotion. Oh, there we go. Yeah. Man, thank you very much. I appreciate you. We all appreciate you. Oh, this is awesome.
Okay, I don't know what I'm doing.
Oh, me neither.
I guess you just.
Okay. You can come right here. That's awesome. My name is Kabir. Your name?
Laura.
Nice to meet you. Thank you for participating today. So we have a motivational message for a sales team. You can see that, or I can put it over here, wherever it's comfortable for you. And is there an emotion, before I direct you in any way, I'm just curious to know if there's an emotion. If you were motivating a sales team, would you pick a certain emotion from there? Or what stands out to you?
Well, somebody help me because I'm a recruiter.
Ah,
I recruit students.
nice.
Exactly a sales team, but where would I go, everybody? Joy.
Joy is a great one. Joy is a great one.
And then
Enthusiastic is awesome. So,
okay, enthusiastic.
perfect. So the only thing we're going to do today is read this in an enthusiastic, joyful way. You can, since this is a message for a sales team, it may not be one person you're speaking to, it may be a group. Now, if it's a group, you might find that you're going to be projecting a certain way. So there's no rules, there's no judgment, I would love to just hear how you sound joyful, enthusiastic, and try to work on your elements of pacing, and that's it.
Okay, so I'm going to read this.
Absolutely. You're doing great.
You hold my hand.
Absolutely. Yeah.
So I'm gonna pretend like I'm a recruiter, okay?
Mm-hmm. You're the best recruiter.
So I'm enthusiastic and optimistic. So I'm talking to these people, right?
Yeah. And you can start off by just reading and not performing. So let's read it together.
Every call,
Mhm.
every pitch, every connection. It's more than just a sale. It's forging a legacy. Let's redefine success together.
Perfect.
Okay. All right. So. Okay.
Yep. There we go.
But I have to read it though. So.
You can even come on this microphone because it sounds a little better. You can.
Okay.
How's that sound? A little better?
Every call, every pitch, every connection. It's more than just a sale. It's forging a legacy. Let's redefine success together.
Awesome. Now, your attitude is great. You have a smile. We can feel your warmth. Let's adjust the pace. Maybe start off a little slower.
I talk fast.
It's okay. Me too. Go ahead.
Every call, every pitch, every connection. It's more than just a sale. It's forging a legacy. Let's redefine success together.
Nice. Now we're going to adjust a different part. Now we're going to adjust the energy. So now this is a locker room speech.
Okay.
Okay, I want to see the locker room in you. You know, just passionate, loud, passionate, feel it. Who are you talking to? Maybe you have someone that you want to motivate specifically. Try that. Try adjusting your energy level a bit.
Okay. I thought I was doing high energy, but it's okay.
No.
Okay. Every call, every pitch, every connection. It's more than just a sale. It's forging a legacy. Let's redefine success together.
Nice. Now, that's perfect. We'll do a quick on the tagline, because that'd be let's redefine success together. Let's try that. Slow it down and put a little emphasis on success, but then the most emphasis on together.
Okay. Because I talk to students all the time, so it is important that I do this well. Okay, but high energy still.
Yeah.
Okay.
You don't have to. You could try some different.
Okay. Every call, every pitch, every connection. It's more than just a sale. It's forging a legacy. Let's define success together.
Perfect. Man, awesome. That's it. Thank you very much.
Okay,
You did a
cool.
great job. You can
Okay.
grab a gift for
Okay,
you.
thank you.
That was good. Yeah, thank you for participating. You know, it's not easy to come up and do the first one and me just throwing a random script that I wrote, like, you know what I mean? This weird guy talking about poetry and voiceover. Thank you for participating. All right, so we're going to do another one if we have another participant. Now we got some. Okay, so we'll have one here, and then you can get the next one. Thank you. Here we go. Awesome. Let's. This one is a PSA, a public service announcement. Thank you for participating.
Hi.
Sam?
Yes.
Nice to meet you, Kabir.
Nice to
You
meet
can
you.
come. So this is a public service announcement. Oftentimes, the public service announcements are going to be a little bit on the sadder side of life. And I'm not going to guide you in your emotion wheel, but when you read just to yourself the words, if you can, feel free to pick an emotion from the wheel when you're ready.
Well, I'm gonna go with sadness.
Perfect.
Can I say like two emotions, even though one of them's kind of not on there?
I mean, you can say whatever you want.
So I think there should be a hopefulness to it.
Nice.
But still, despair in
Okay.
that kind of way.
Awesome. And I like that you said that there should be some hopefulness to it. And you're absolutely right. Because if you come off too sad, it gets dark. So if you have a little smile while you're saying it, I think you're right. The perfect word is hopefulness. So when you're ready, feel free to, start where you want to start. Play with your pacing, play with your volume and your energy.
I'm just going to read it normally first.
Absolutely.
So in the wake of the escalating crisis of veterans homelessness, every moment counts. Your actions today shape our communities tomorrow.
Nice. Okay.
I'm not shaking.
Yeah. It's nothing heavy, just homelessness.
So, in the wake of the escalating crisis of veterans homelessness, every moment counts. Your actions today shape our communities tomorrow.
Awesome. Nice. So let's maybe right towards the end, have a lot more smile towards the end, and then slow down your pace where it says every moment counts. Other than that, everything's good. Whenever you're ready.
In the wake of the escalating crisis of veterans homelessness, every moment counts. Your actions today shape our communities tomorrow.
Perfect. That was really good. And we'll go one little tweak in the end, maybe just your actions today. Put it in. Inflection is often used. Sometimes, you can abuse it where you're like inflecting every word. That's not what we want to do. But in this specific message, your actions today, try that. Let's see how that feels.
Okay. It does get a little bit easier every time.
Yeah.
Okay. So, in the wake of the escalating crisis of veterans homelessness, every moment counts. Your actions today can shape our communities tomorrow.
Not bad. You want to take that last part again? Real quick, go ahead.
Your actions today shape our communities tomorrow.
Nice. Excellent job. Thank you. Oh, no, mine too. Go ahead. You grab one of those. Thank you very much. That was a great job. Now we have the last one. If you still like to participate, we'd love to have you. There we go. Nice. And this one is just a little personal affirmation. It's pretty short. Alex,
Yep.
Nice to meet you. Thank you. Go ahead.
Make sure I want to read this.
Yeah, absolutely.
Right. So you want me to identify the emo?
Yeah, yep. Maybe an emotion that stands out to you when reading this. And you can just connect with it, with that emotion before you read.
Oh, that's a deep statement.
Probably start with love, maybe.
Love, I think.
Yeah,
Definitely love.
that's a good one.
It's and joy.
Mm.
Both of them I think are good, but I think maybe peacefulness.
Perfect.
What do you all think?
I think they like peacefulness.
Would that work?
Yeah, that works. So you can just take a stab at it off the bat, or you can read it out loud before you perform it. It's up to you. And just focus on pacing, the volume, and your overall energy.
I'll read it first. In the whispers of my failures, I acknowledge my vulnerability, knowing it's the salvation of my strength and my authenticity.
Perfect. Okay. So now, performance-wise, find that feeling that you have. It's a powerful statement. Allow it to be intimate. So when something is intimate, maybe it's a little softer in volume. So you can just start with that direction and we'll go from there. However you want to start.
In the whispers of my failures, I acknowledge my vulnerability, knowing that it's the salvation of my strength and my authenticity.
Mm-hmm. Perfect. Now, there you go. Let's take that. Now add a little bit of energy to it so that you feel it from the gut. When you're speaking of it, when you're talking about your failures, your vulnerability, whatever aspect that might be in your life, or if you're speaking to someone, let's bring a little bit of passion into it whenever you're ready.
In the whispers of my failures, I acknowledge my vulnerability, knowing that it's my salvation and my strength and authenticity.
Nice. Let's speed it up just a little bit so it's more fluid. And yeah, go with that one.
In the whispers of my failures, I acknowledge my vulnerability, knowing that it's the salvation of my strength and my authenticity.
Perfect. Now, let's add a little bit of inflection. So you can choose a specific part of this where you want to maybe inflect. It can be I acknowledge. It can be my vulnerability. These are certain words that we're looking for that have an extra punch or that we feel are important. Try that and connect with whatever word you'd like.
In the whispers of my failures, I acknowledge my vulnerability, knowing it's my salvation of my strength and authenticity.
Perfect. Man, thank you for participating. That was a good job, man. It really, thank you. my bad. That was excellent. Thank you guys for participating, and I hope that was helpful. Okay, so with a little bit of time that we have, we're going to go off into the poetry section. What is poetry? Essentially, it's just emphasizing words and rhythm to connect with emotions. Now, you have beat poets where they can talk and do stuff like this, where they're doing it in specific beats. That's a specific style. You have the old time poets who write specific, Rudyard Kipling. These are specific literary poets. That comes off different. I'm more of a freestyle poet writer. For me, I just like writing. When I first started writing poetry, it was just because I had no friends. So I would just write, and communicate to myself. Over the years, voice acting has allowed me to become a better poet. So I didn't want to come and ask people for doing an exercise without participating myself. So I wrote a little poem here. I'll perform it, and then we can move on past that. So. I remember these halls when they were dusty and old. UC Riverside was for the unwanted and bold. The clock tower stood tall right before my eyes. I was a young boy who was lost deeply inside. The path forward was paved with adventure and thrill. I felt young while getting old by life's moments that stood still. 20 years later, I find myself on a similar adventure and grind. I was born to be bold with a brilliant UCR mind. That one. All right. Thank you. This last part of our journey here is just going to be a little intimate, and you guys, whether you have pen, paper, a phone, you can choose to participate. I hope you do. It's just to write something, whatever you want. It's to be your own little poet for about 2 minutes. I'm going to play a little musical track to guide you. The emotional wheel is there. There is no guidance. This is just free writing. You can write whatever you want. The only goal is to be guided by the music, connect with the feeling, and whether it's a word, a sentence, it doesn't matter. Just vibe for a couple minutes, give yourself permission, and we'll take it from there. Thank you guys for doing that and participating. I want to be respectful of everybody's time, but feel free to continue. I really thank you for allowing yourself to do it, to be honest with you. If time allows and anyone has the desire, they can come and speak their truth if they like. This is just an open invite, not a requirement. The mic is here. I give it about 10 seconds for a volunteer. If not, I'll just move on. Cool. Okay. before we go, I'm gonna wrap this up, and I just wanted to give you some resources and tips. The first one is a breathing exercise. I figure this is helpful, and it's been helpful for me. It's a really simple one. It's called slow leak. Essentially, you're going to fill up your lungs, and you can do this if you just want to work on your breath control, if you find yourself presenting or speaking and running out of breath. Slow leak is a great exercise. You're going to fill up your lungs like normal. You're going to clench your teeth and then slowly leak your breath out through your teeth. So it's something like, and you just keep going. So you fill it up, you close your teeth, and you slowly, and the slower you can leak the breath out, the more capacity your lungs will get, and the better you'll be able to control longer sentences, bigger paragraphs. So that's the slow leak. A book that I found, I think probably best to get on Audible, is called Vocal Power by Roger Love. It breaks down different dynamics of the voice and how you can improve your own voice and connect with your voice. It's a great audiobook. And The Art of Public Speaking, also on Audible. It's by great courses. It goes through some of the greatest speakers of our time and the stuff that they had to work through and the little things that they had to fix in order to become better speakers. And the last one is, I still do this, is in a quiet setting, just talk to yourself. In a quiet setting with a microphone, put on some headphones, be vulnerable, whether that means you're crying, whether that means you're happy, whether that means you're angry, doesn't matter. In a quiet setting with no distraction, microphone, headphones, and talk to yourself. Ask yourself life's deepest questions. And the reason is these questions, they just help you become a better version of yourself, and you find out who you are as a person. And the more you get to know yourself, I think the better speakers we become. So if you have any questions in the end, after a little Q&A, or you want to connect with me, feel free to reach out. I can always, I'm always here to help share any tips, connect people if they're interested in voiceover or have any questions about just public speaking in general. But overall, I really appreciate everyone that participated, that came, and you guys did it with such enthusiasm. I'm very grateful. So if you have any questions, I'd love to take some questions. But if not, we'd be good to go. Oh, awesome.
Sure. This might be more from a singing perspective, but do you ever think about like head voice versus chest voice, and do you employ that when you're...
That's a great question. When there's certain, it's a great question. When you have certain copy and voiceover that requires, let's say, it'll say, we want a leader, or we want someone who leads and can project the voice. They'll have that in the direction, and off the bat, you'll know that, okay, I need to bring it in from the gut. I really need to find my voice from the diaphragm and work from there. Now, there's other times where you'll get copy that, doesn't have specific direction like that. And you're allowed to play with certain sounds that, if we take our voice and put it up here and we play around with it a little bit, how do we sound? Like, we can really go into that. And now that gets into character voices. The more you can manipulate those dynamics of your voice, you can start doing character voices. So it kind of depends on the copy, and it depends on what you're trying to achieve. But that's a great question. Yes?
This is more just like a fun question. Have you considered like getting into like different types of animation, like kids animation? If you have, do you have a preference of like, real life character voiceovers or more like fun animation?
Yeah. No, that's a great question. A lot of my work is commercial work, and I always had a tougher time. I did a class one time to learn how to be characters, and I was amazed on how quickly someone can become a chair, or how quickly they can sound like a complete different accent. And the person I was talking to, I told him this, And then he was also tripping out on me that I have the ability just to sound normal. So we each have a skill. And that's the game, that in voiceover, some people are better at some things, some people are better at other things. If you have a passion for animation and characters, you can definitely go into that field. I've been in a video game before, and that was a cool experience. But even in the video game, I just had to be a regular guy, opposed to like, yeah. So I was cool because there's some times where you have to be these really extraordinary characters, and that requires a certain type of skill. So, awesome question. Yes.
Get some suggestions on how you can protect and train your voice.
Another good question. You know, these are little tricks, but let's say one of my problems is enunciation. I would tend to slur or not enunciate. Now, certain voiceover copy requires that you enunciate really well. Maybe it's a bank or corporate lecture. You take a wine cork, you put the wine cork in your mouth, in between your teeth, and then you talk with the wine cork in your mouth slowly. You will open up all the muscles in your jaw. Everything will just sound crispy. You do this for maybe a minute. Take a wine cork, put it in your mouth, put your tongue on the back of the wine cork, and just read a paragraph. That'll fix your enunciation. Something else could be sometimes a lot of voice actors on a microphone, they make a clicking mouth click. You just need a green apple. Green apple, you eat a green apple, it takes away all the mouth clicks. It dries up because of the pectin. So it's an awesome little trick. And just general care for the voice, the licorice root tea is great from traditional medicine. It really coats it with just enough, I think it's called licorice root, but I use it all the time before sessions because it doesn't dry out your throat. So,
And some exercises you can recommend.
yeah, I would say the slow leak is a great one. The other one is you take a piece of paper and you put it next to a wall. Just a regular 8x11 piece of paper. Obviously, the paper is going to fall. Your goal is to keep the paper up, and you do that by blowing out. You blow out, and the paper falls. You got to keep it up. All that pressure, all that will build up your vocal capacity. And then when you catch your breath and you go read a script, you'll find that you can, say a lot more words. So these are little things that we could do. Any other questions? Yes.
I have one. If you have a suggestion, something that happens to me is sometimes when I'm presenting, I don't do voiceovers, but like if I'm presenting and I get nervous, my voice will start to crack, and there's nothing I can do about it. I might just, presenting, and you can hear it like cracking. Is there anything that
Yeah. I would say practice, and the reason I say practice was I would take a microphone and I would adjust the microphone at different gain levels, so make it more sensitive and less sensitive. And then practice reading stuff, whether it's something you're presenting, at different levels. Practice it soft like this with a nice volume, and then practice it like you're yelling. And what you'll find is it's a comfortability thing. And the more you practice at the different ranges, not just normal speaking voice, the different ranges, you'll get way more comfortable. And the cracking will slowly go away, and you'll just get more comfortable. I think that'll help. Great question. Yes?
One quick comment and a question is, for those of you who have not heard our Bold Cards Brilliant Minds commercials, which you can find right on our homepage, listen to the voice behind those commercials. He's right there in front of our.
Oh, thank you for the shout out, man. Thanks, man.
A lot of folks here advise their senior leaders for speaking, interviews, and things like that. Are there signals for when a voice sounds inauthentic? If we don't tell somebody we're advising, say you sound fake.
Dude, that's a great question. That's a great question. Nowadays, people can pretend really well. And I think we're kind of trained on pretending. And yet, for some magical reason, I think people can also see when someone's being themselves, being authentic, being real. So then what is the difference there? Sometimes it's comfortability. When they're not comfortable, you can tell that they're not being themselves. And that's the first signal. But then oftentimes it can be the dynamics of the voice. Whether they're talking really loud, you can tell that they're nervous, or maybe they're just trying to find words. You can tell that way. And if you dig enough deeper, it'll just be in the way they answer their questions and the fluidity of it. You know, oftentimes some people are too smooth. You know, you could like, you can't be that smooth, man. Come on, you know. And they're too smooth, so when you hear them, you can tell it's not as authentic. Are they okay making a mistake, or do they start tripping out? That's another give. So that's a great question. Thank you for asking that one. Any
Any other questions?
all good? All right. Thank you very much. I appreciate that.